Guys, gals, we're here, alright? This is episode 78 of the Overkill podcast. I am Iron Meta Frankie, and I'm here with...
DK10 baby.
Yep.
We are the podcast. We're going to get right into this one with a new game that just came out. It's called Donkey Kong Bananza. I'm sure you guys have heard of it. And it's getting pretty positive reviews right now. I've played a little bit of it, and so far I've enjoyed what I've played. I've just played the tutorial, then a little bit of the first world, which is kind of like a beach world, which is interesting for first level. It's got like a big ship that is like destroyed or like abandoned, and then the tutorial is just like kind of like a mine shaft thing that you go through. But yeah, so far it's been enjoyable. You can clearly tell this was made by the Odyssey team. It feels sort of like maybe a spiritual successor to Odyssey, but obviously with the Donkey Kong formula. I know Meta's much more of a Donkey Kong 64 guy, so I know he's been excited for this one. I like the 2D DKs because they're a lot harder, and I think that's where Donkey Kong shines is in 2D environments. But that's a hot take.
Yeah, I mean, you're probably right. I think the 2D games have always done better overall. They're definitely probably considered the better games by most people. 64 is kind of a game that was praised when it came out, and over time people have liked it less and less because of just how much bloat it has. And going back and playing it, I can confirm there's quite a lot of bloat, but I still love it to death. I've been very excited for this game, and I know you got me a copy of it, and I just need the Switch to play it on. But it does look like a really cool game. My only concern, and I don't expect it to be like Donkey Kong 64, is that I think it's more, like you were saying, it's more of an Odyssey, Mario Odyssey spin-off than it is anything else. And it's not like I disliked Odyssey, but I'm definitely not as thrilled that it's an Odyssey spin-off over, maybe a more collectathon 64 type game.
Yeah. One thing that I have found interesting is the fact that you can climb on walls and such. That is one thing that I do think is interesting, and it does make some platforming challenges it makes obsolete. You can just climb, and I feel like you have so many actions you can do. Like you can punch forward, and then up and down, and then you have roll, and then you have you can grab the ground. It just feels like a very complex game where it's normally in many of the Donkey Kong games, even in 64. You had, I think you had the leg kick where you'd launch yourself forward with your legs out. You had simple, and then you had jump and I think roll, and that was it. And then maybe whatever weapon you had. Whereas in this one, it feels a lot more complex. Also, it feels like whenever you're mashing through walls, it feels like a press Y simulator. And it does. You're just pressing one button to get through the walls, and there are upgrades that make you do more damage to walls. But at least the first upgrade that I got, it didn't seem to make my punches any more stronger toward the wall. But maybe I just wasn't understanding what it was upgrading.
What does that mean?
Maybe it was upgrading how big the wall, how big. Or how big the wall, I guess, radius is that you destroy. Not it doesn't reduce the amount of punches it takes.
That is probably much more likely, yeah.
But yeah, other than that, I mean, it's you can definitely tell it's very inspired by Odyssey and not Donkey Kong. Um, which could be a good thing,
Sure,
could be a
for
bad
sure.
thing depending on what you enjoy. I did like Odyssey quite a bit. I know I 100%ed it, but it was for me after it's kind of like Tears of the Kingdom. Whenever Breath of the Wild, or after I beat Breath of the Wild, and then Tears of the Kingdom came out, I'm just like, I don't ever want to play that style of game ever again.
Yeah, yeah. Fair. Okay, yeah, I mean, I'm a little disappointed in that, but you know, I guess I won't know until we play it, and I'm sure we'll cover it when I play it, but yeah, so you're kind of like milk toast on it.
Yeah, I mean,
Seems like.
I'll probably complete it, but it's just it. Apparently, it is quite a long game too. It's supposedly 25 hours to complete.
That is
Which is pretty
shocking,
nice.
actually.
I thought it was gonna be like an 8 hour game, to be honest. Like from whatever they showed at Nintendo Direct, usually they show like everything, but actually this time around with this game, they didn't really show too much,
Okay.
which is shocking. Yeah.
Well, uh, yeah, I guess we can move on, eh?
Mhm.
It seems like we got mid reviews from you, and I don't know, I haven't played it, but I'm looking forward to it, but also cautious. So there we go. um, we are here
We got
to
that Soul Frame,
discuss
baby.
Soul Frame. Yeah, I was trying to find it. I was like, where did I put that tab? 50 tabs open. Um, I've learned a way to quiet my mouse on the podcast too. So I just for the well, my not my watch, but just for the viewers out there, I've actually taken my towel and folded it like 4 times, and then I've put it over my hand, and my mouse is underneath, and you can't hear the clicks through the mic. It's one of the most rigged ways I've ever tried to do something like this. Okay, so Digital Extremes. They're working on this game. It's called Soulframe. It is very Dark Souls like aesthetic. I'm sure it's going to be in the thumbnail because it just looks so sick. And we don't really have any gameplay that I found, but there are bows, there are swords, there are bear people. But if just looking at it, it's the same over the shoulder. It almost looks like they copied and pasted Warframe and then just put it over like they just put a whole new coat of paint on it. Is there anything else you want to add to that?
Um, I think they did have some gameplay at TanoCon, which is their big Warframe event that they
Oh,
have
maybe I
every
haven't seen it
year,
yet.
and
Did you find some?
it's to me it looks like your typical. It basically just looks like Warframe without all the guns and such, and in a
Oh yeah, here
medieval
you go.
kind of setting. It looks like instead of guns, you have staffs that you can cast spells with. That's kind of like your ranged attack, and then you have your dagger or sword, and you can basically swing that around for melee. And it also looks like you can throw the sword and then retrieve it, which it looks interesting. The enemies have numbers above their heads, which I'm assuming is their level, so it's still very much Warframey, where it's kind of an RPG still. Obviously, a little different art style. To me, it looks I don't know. It's very much like royalty free Elden Ring. I don't know, or like royalty free. Yeah, actually, Elden Ring more. I was gonna say Souls, but I think it's Elden. Like you can
Yeah,
talk
yeah.
to There's a bear character that it looks like you can talk to, and there's also a deer character. A lot of the animals you can speak to. Um, I'm assuming they're going to be kind of like your upgrade stations, maybe. Um, kind of from Warframe, but yeah, looks like a pretty cool game. Uh,
It
I think
does.
I think the time frame we're getting this is late 2026. That's my prediction. It looks pretty complete for being in what they call alpha. I mean, to me, this looks like a beta, but I don't know. Not a game dev, so. But it
Man,
looks pretty
yeah,
complete.
it does look pretty complete. The trailer on YouTube from IGN only has 1.5k likes out of 80k views, which is not exactly normal. So I don't know if people are a little mad or not. It looks like a fun game, so I actually did see the gameplay. I didn't see that when I first googled it, but it is not a Souls-like. It's its own thing, even though it looks like one. I will say, I'm a little surprised that Digital Extreme is releasing a whole new game whenever they've been struggling to get out updates for Warframe for the longest time. So to me, it's a little bit of a slap in the face whenever they can't even get out their own DLC for their original game. They're releasing a whole new one. But, I know that's not how game dev works, but it's still, it feels a little shitty. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think. But I'm not really a Warframe player. This looks better than Warframe, but that's just.
Yeah. I think one thing too is like they've been at Warframe for so long. I think the game came out originally in like 2013 or 2012. So it's been a long time where they've worked on Warframe, and I think they're kind of ready to do something else maybe, and I think that's what they're trying to do with this game. Is they're kind of trying to just expand out and not just be the Warframe guys.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Which
Makes sense. It looks cool. It looks awesome. I'm down to play it. I know there's going to be a demo or something that they might put out. I know they had the demo at TennoCon, but kind of skimming through this article, it looks like they're going to release it to the wider public at some point, which makes sense because Warframe's a free game. Oh, it's also an MMO. I don't know if we've covered that or not, but it's basically just a new MMO.
Yeah.
All right. Easy, dude.
Well, I know there's been a lot of video game movies and video game related TV shows coming out recently. And, well, this week we got the big reveal for for the new Legend of Zelda movie that they're making. We got the lead cast members. We've only gotten who plays Zelda and who plays Link. Bo Bragson plays Zelda, and Benjamin Evan Ainsworth plays Link. I don't know these two actors, I'm going to be honest.
I don't think I do either.
From their other roles, I think maybe they were in Stranger Things or something. Or what's that other one? I don't know. They were in something. I know that. I know a lot of people know them. I'm not a big movie aficionado. They're apparently both British actors, which is interesting. And yeah, we'll have to see how this movie comes out. I'm assuming that Al Numa, who's the guy who makes the Zelda games, I'm sure he'll have his say on what goes on in the movie. As Shigeru Miyamoto did have a say in what went on with the Mario movie, so I think if he's on the project, it'll be pretty good. We don't know really any of the story. We just have gotten images of who plays them and what they look like in the movie, which I think they both look like their games, game characters. I think they selected pretty good actors for it. Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah. Me too. I think it's. I'm actually kind of excited for it. One, because they actually picked actors that look like what they're supposed to, um, which is kind of rare these days. I think Twitter had a little meltdown about it. More on the left side of the politics, though. They were a little disappointed that they were not, uh, you know, Japanese or another race. They were both white, so that's not surprising. But I'm pretty sure Zelda and Link are both white. But maybe I'm cooked on that chat. I don't know. They look like they look like their roles. Everything seems to be on the up and up. And shoot, I don't know. I mean, we don't know anything else about it, do we?
No, not really. People are speculating
Oh
who's going to play Ganondorf and all that. I think the funniest one is Jason Momoa as Ganondorf.
man.
Or I think The Rock is funny. But the thing is if you cast
I do too.
The Rock as Ganondorf, it becomes a Rock movie, and I don't know if I want that.
Yeah, I don't like that either. I don't like that one bit. All right. Okay.
But yeah,
Is that it? I think that's
yeah, I
it
think that's about it, bro.
on the movie, dude. We don't know nothing. There's nothing to talk about. We just wanted to bring it up.
Yeah.
All right.
So we
I
can move
guess
on to the Ubisoft
we'll move on.
CEO.
I know we've covered it before. Stop killing games. It got its million signatures last week, which I'm very excited about. So with all of that extra attention, Ubisoft felt like the CEO felt like it was time to respond. And this guy's name, it really doesn't matter. Yves Guillemot has addressed Stop Killing Games. Now, his initial response here was basically, regarding the petition, we operate in a market, and whenever we release a game, we provide a lot of support for that game. We also provide a lot of services to make sure that game is accessible and remains playable 24/7. He also stated that players and buyers are forewarned when an Ubi game is going to be shut down, and that the crew, specifically, the Ubi offered its successor, the Crew 2, on sale for $1 for a fortnight. So if you wanted, so they offered the Crew 2 really cheap, and they said they were going to shut down the Crew 1. So, I guess that has been their response. And he said, all video game publishers are forced with changing any services. You provide a service, nothing's written in stone, yada yada. Nothing is eternal. We make sure that things will go well for all of our players and buyers, and support for games cannot last forever. Now, the context of all of this. Oh, and he also said, they warned everybody that it would be available offline in the future. So part of his response was for the Crew 2 is that they've announced that the Crew 2 will be available in an offline playable state in the future. So it seems like they've caved at least a little bit for the Crew 2. The Crew 1, dead. But the Crew 2 is directly trying to address some of Stop Killing Games stuff. Now, the interesting part is, with all this context, is that also last week, before the petition passed, it was discovered that 20 years ago, 10 years ago, in the EULAs of old games from Ubi, it said it essentially said when service ends, you have to destroy your physical copy. Which I think is crazy, and you definitely think is crazy, right?
Yeah, that to me, bro, ain't no one going to be like, I'm gonna destroy this disc because Ubi told me to. Also, who reads the like? No one reads the end user agreements because they're boring, and for the most part, it just kind of goes over stuff that you already know. Like you can't copy the game, you can't, distribute it online or whatever. Stuff that you pretty much already know, and like it basically goes over that you're buying like one copy, right? Generally, there's maybe some other stuff in there, but uh, I'm surprised. I think I think this is kind of one thing where it's like the EULA is never really gonna ever be. I don't think it'll ever be used or like taken to court. And even if it was taken to court, I don't know if, because I feel like in the United States it would be like, well, you kind of signed your right to have the game, or like you basically signed an agreement saying, yeah, I'll destroy the game, but you didn't, right? So
Yeah.
I guess if someone doesn't, they would technically be in the wrong because they signed that EULA. But I would argue that it's like unreasonable to expect people to do that.
Yeah, I would agree. So they did address that, and it was kind of explained as there is. It was kind of put in as a safeguard against distributing the game like after they've shut it down. It's kind of put in as like an old remnant of the early 2000s. So I don't know if I really care if that's the reason. But yeah, that's the idea.
Well, yeah, it's like I think it's like ultimately kind of just an anti-piracy sort of measure that
Yeah,
they put in there.
that's basically what it is. Yeah.
But it's also like there have been a lot of games that I know of that, like for instance, Nintendo shut down the servers for Mario Kart Wii. Well, people they got together and they started their own server, and now you can connect to it through the Dolphin emulator, and you can play online Mario Kart Wii in 2025, even though the servers were shut down in like 2014. So it is nice that there are some games and some fans who are that dedicated that'll keep the games up. I've never heard of the crew though, so I don't know how that if that fan base would do that, but yeah, at least in my opinion, like for most of these online only games, I think there should be a way to at least play them offline. I'm not sure how integral the online is for the games, but yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they're basically just racing games, I'm assuming, so it's probably could be pretty easy to have an offline mode.
Yeah, I mean, it can't be that difficult. I just think it was interesting that yeah, it can't be that difficult. I don't know. They just feel really defensive because they were the ones that kind of started all this. I think.
Yeah, I doubt this is really going to stop anyone from even pirating the games either.
No.
People do that anyways,
I mean, yeah.
Unless
Pretty
you're
much.
I think unless you're like a really big distributor of pirated games, you're never gonna get caught if you actually download pirated games. At least that's what we've seen from like Nintendo. They just get like the big sites that are like rom.com or whatever, stuff that's like, oh yeah. Yeah. Guess we can talk about something
I guess we
that
shall.
my boy Meta did for me. Shout out big homie. He finally got me. Well, I guess he's a Discord Nitro subscriber, and they give you
keep
little
all my
perks.
kittens happy, dude.
You get little perks.
I'm gonna go vomit now.
One of those perks is he got a month of Game Pass for free, quote unquote.
Yes.
Free. And he gave that code to me. I've been using Game Pass for a little bit, and I finally got to experience a couple games that we've talked about on the pod, and
This is true.
yeah, just kind of wanted to go over some of that. So I finally played Power World. I know
Based?
Meta dragged me through.
Dragged. True.
He finally convinced me to play Power World, and I was hesitant at first, but I gotta say, it's actually become one of my favorite games, and I genuinely do want to maybe buy it, especially because with Game Pass you do get a small sale on any games that you buy. So
Yes, you do.
I could buy it, but then I would have to play it through the Xbox store, which
I know that. So, like, one of the biggest problems with it is, like, if you switch over to Steam, you're obviously, like, restarting, essentially, because it's a different account. If you ever buy it through Steam.
The other games that I've been playing is I've also played a little bit of Crash Bandicoot 4, and I also played some Doom: The Dark Ages, which I actually have enjoyed. I haven't played those a ton. But yeah, surprisingly, Doom: The Dark Ages does run really well on the 3080 that I have, and I think there was some stability issues, but I think they finally patched that out. And it's crazy because the game, if you put it on low, it looks like a game from last generation on high graphics. Like, that's how low it is. And so for me, it was like really heating up my PC whenever I had it on high, but I turned it down to low, and it actually helped out a lot of those issues. It still looks great too. So
It does.
other than that, I did have one weird issue where I wanted to play Battlefield 1. You also get EA Pass or whatever, and apparently my EA account is tied to a different Xbox account, so I can't play any EA games. But other than that, I mean,
Rip.
pretty cool service. I don't know if I'll ever subscribe to Game Pass. To me, it's just, I don't know. I don't like any subscription-based things, but it is nice to be able to play $60 games, new games that just came out for like $12 a month.
Do you know what you could do?
Also, I like how it shows you how like long the game plays, like how long it takes to beat.
Yeah. I think there's some cool stuff that Game Pass does. That's one of them. Another cool feature I think they have is they give you the ability to see like upcoming like editions and stuff, and I think that's really awesome.
Yeah. Ooh. Big yawn.
Yeah. I guess if you were to ever get it on Steam, I guess what you could do is throw all your stuff in a chest, rejoin on a new character. It'd obviously be level 1, but you can pick up all your gear and level up pretty quick. Seems nice. Yeah. Game Pass, you can buy games through the Xbox store. I actually did not know that. Through the Game Pass store?
And also surprisingly, I do gotta say this: the Xbox store I don't know. I mean, it's just the Xbox app. It's not the Microsoft store, but the app itself has really improved a lot. I don't know if what they've done, but I remember whenever it first came out, I never liked how it looked, but I think it's come a long way for sure. Yeah. And that's all I got.
Damn. Based. Well, I haven't subscribed to Game Pass in a long time. But as far as just because I don't get enough use out of it, like maybe after I pass my exam and stuff, maybe I'll finally have time to play a bunch of different games. I mean, that's one of the motivating factors for trying to pass. Is just being able to buy more games, have more time to play games. Heck, even just just spending more time doing things I want to, like playing instruments. So I might resubscribe when I have time. My only issue with it is I like Steam and I like owning my games, And so if there's a game that I like on Game Pass, I tend to want to own it. Like the Little Kitty Big City, I like that game a lot. I don't think I'd replay it again for like another year. But my issue is like I want to replay it at some point, and so either I have to resubscribe or I have to buy it on Steam. Um, and you know it's kind of a proposition thing and like a little bit of a little bit of like a habit thing for I think both of us. Like getting over the fact of like not I guess paying for a game and owning the license because you really don't even own your Steam games is a difficult pill to swallow.
Yeah. Well, I feel like the thing too is like, I mean, I don't think Microsoft would go away either, but like, I think Steam is kind of like one of those services that's been around for so long, like no one can ever see it going away. It's like basically it's kind of like a safe bet just to get it on Steam. Um, but yeah, I mean, it also helps that you get whenever you buy Minecraft, you get the Java and the Bedrock edition, or at least back in the day you did. For any like the older accounts, you got the Bedrock edition as well, which can only be played on the Xbox app. So I think it's one thing that's kind of nice too is if you've bought that game, which like 99% of people have, you already have a game on the Xbox.
Oh yeah,
store.
that's super based. Super based. All right. I mean, Xbox has done some nice stuff for people. You know,
Yeah.
you already buy it, you get it. You know, super based. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I kind of figured that's where we land on Game Pass. We're still kind of like not really pro Game Pass, but it's a service that seems to be nice. I know a lot of our friends subscribe to it because they see the value in it. But I think a lot of our mutual friends they're sneaky and they like find time to play games more than we think they do. So yeah, maybe if you play a bunch of games, maybe it's good.
Well, I think it's good if you play a lot of different games. The thing is like for me, I like to play like one game a lot, and I also like to be able to like put it down and pick it up. And I feel like with Game Pass, it's like if I'm not playing a Game Pass game, I feel like I'm kind of wasting it, you know. And that's kind of one thing where it's like maybe it's more of like a psychological thing. And I think that's why I don't like Game Pass. Cause if I ever subscribe to it, I'm only gonna be playing PC pretty much, and I don't know. I like to play Nintendo too. Yeah. I guess we can move on.
All right. So this is something I didn't know existed. This will be real short. This is just something fascinating. And next week we're going to talk more about owning your games. Steam is going through a bit of a controversy right now. Well, it's more like the credit card payment processors are telling Steam what they can and cannot sell. But I'm waiting for the dust to settle a little bit on that to get more news because that's probably going to be a big segmente next week. I'm really trying to plan the stories out better for these. So we're waiting on that. But while we wait on that, let's talk about games that I did not know this, but games on the Switch 2, there are a few Switch 1 games that did not run well. Did you know this was a thing?
No, I didn't. I expected all the games to basically get like a performance boost.
Yeah. And I guess Nintendo has been reaching out to a lot of these publishers to get them to edit the game to work. Just a few. I think just a few of the ones that I think are worth mentioning. Crypt the Necro Dancer, Konosuba. We got Labyrinth of Galera, Nekopara, Portal 2. We'll just say a couple Sega games, Sky, Children of the Light, and there's a few more on this list. But I'm surprised that these Nintendo One games don't work on, or Nintendo One. These Switch One games don't work on Switch Two. Goodness gracious. But I guess it makes sense because the hardware is or the software is a little bit different. Yeah.
Yeah, the I think the hardware is it's obviously different, and one thing is I think the Switch 2, it doesn't do like emulation, but it also doesn't just run the game. It does kind of like a weird mix of the two, from what I understand, where it's kind of emulating the game, but it's kind of running it natively. So maybe that's what's like messing up these games, um, because maybe they were tied to like specific aspects of the Switch One. Not too sure exactly what that would be, but yeah. Well, for the most part, all the games that I had on Switch One, I've played a majority of them. All the Nintendo ones work very well. That's kind of to be expected. But even like some of the third-party ones and the indie ones, they also run fine. But also, they're not the most demanding games generally. Um, so yeah, I think one thing that I'm kind of shocked is I feel like I don't know if Nintendo will ever be able to do this, but I feel like they should just all the games that you had on your Switch One should become like Switch 2 games, and they should just run at like 4K and 60 if possible, or 30.
That'd be nice.
But that is one thing that I think sucks is like if you play Switch 1 games, you're playing like a downgraded version, right? Like you could be playing a Switch 2 game that's 4K and 60, but instead you're playing a 1080p 30 game, and it's like that's fine, I guess, but I don't know. I feel like they should. Most of the publishers should try, if possible, to make their games work better on the Switch 2. Yeah, like specifically, I've been playing. I played Security Breach on Switch 2, and it's, from what I understand, it's basically the same game, but on Switch 1 it had some like performance dips, and on the second one it's basically constantly 30 unless it's like loading in a new area, then it like dips down to load it in, and it'll like freeze the game. Like it kind of reminds me of like those old school games where it would like freeze before you, and then it would like load in the next area, and then it would let you go forward.
Oh, yeah.
And it still does that, but yeah, whenever you're actually playing the game, and like whenever you're being hunted by the scary Freddy Fazbear, you're it runs it at a nice 30 at least. But it would be nice if I could play at 60, but yeah, whatever.
I know. Yeah.
Guess that's about it, boys.
That's about it.
Hope you guys enjoyed the podcast. It's been your boy, Kirby DK10. Peace.
It's been your boy Meta. Y'all keep it.